Yay, we've made it to Friday, year fives, and it is now time for your arithmetic maths paper. So I hope you are ready to focus. We have done the following for you. So there's going to be 15 arithmetic questions like you normally see on a piece of paper. Then there's going to be 5 reasoning questions at the end. So using your knowledge of arithmetic, so there's nothing scary or new or strange, and applying that to a word sum, okay? And your total will be out of 20 marks. Hopefully, if you're doing really, really well and you ace your arithmetic paper, I would say anything above 16 is really good. So I'd love to see your results. So please send them to me at the year 5 at theparmeracademy.com. Love to see how you do. Remember, try and time yourself. I know normally we give you about 12 minutes in class, but I have added in an extra 3 minutes because you are going to have to be going backwards and forwards now with the video. So do try and time yourself and make sure that you're answering those questions as quickly as possible. And if you have time at the end, go and check your answers. So get ready, get your pencil and pen or your piece of paper, and let's go. So at the end, we'll go through all the answers together like we normally do. So pause the video whenever you need, and good luck. Right, here are your first 3 questions. So pause the video. Here is question 4 and 5. So pause and go. Here's question 6, 7, 8. So pause and go. Question 9 and 10. Pause and go. Here's questions 11 to 15. Pause and go. And here are your reasoning questions. So here's questions 16 and 17. Here is question 18 and 19, and there's a star by 18 because it's a bit of a challenge. Have a think. Use that equivalent fraction knowledge that you've been taught this week. And here is question 20. Right, let's see how you have done. So we're going to go back to the beginning, and we're going to start with question number 1. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to look at these 2 numbers, and I'm going to say, right, the fact that they both end on zeros is very helpful for me, okay? Because what it means is that actually these 2 just cancel each other out, and I'm left with 56 divided by 8, and I would know that because 5, 6, 7, 8, and so I'm going to write 8 here, okay? So, although it's not saying 56 divided by 7, I can use my mental calculation that because these both have a 0, I cross them both out, and then I'm left with 56 divided by 7, which is 8. And that would also mean that if I had 560 divided by 70, it would also be 8, okay? Right, here is my missing number at the beginning. So I'm going to be doing the inverse of timesing 100, which is divide by 100. So I'm first going to write this number down in my blocks. Many of you are lazy and you try and do it in your head and you get it wrong. Please do not be lazy, okay? Please write it down and do your working out. So I'm going to be dividing. Now remember, I told you that if you get stuck, draw an arrow and then say to yourself, which one comes first, multiplication or division? Which one do you naturally say? You all love telling me it's times first. So the symbol times and divide, and there you know. If you're timesing, you're moving the number to the left, and if you're dividing, you're moving the number to the right. So you're going to be dividing by 100, because remember, you're doing the opposite of this, okay? So don't get confused now. Use those strategies we have taught you. If the missing number is at the beginning, do the inverse and we're winning. So we're going to be dividing by 100. So if I'm dividing, I'm going to move my number to the right. Now remember, if they don't give me the decimal, I put the decimal in and I make sure it is underneath as well. Remember, the decimal never ever moves. Very stubborn, likes to stay where it is. Right, so now we're going to move these numbers twice because there are 2 zeros. So I'm going to move every single digit up twice, okay? So I'm going to start with my 2 and I move it up 2 spaces and I write it there. Okay, so I've moved it 1, 2, right underneath. Now I move my 1, 1, 2, right underneath. Then I move my 8, 1, 2, right underneath. And I move my 0, 1, 2, and I write underneath. So the only answer that I would expect you to be writing is if you wrote 21.8 or 21.80. Most of you probably would have put the 0 in, okay? And that is the only answer that would be acceptable. Right, 3.06 divide by 10. Again, writing it down, 3.06. And now I'm just doing a straightforward method. So I'm just going to be dividing it by 10. So again, my division there, moving my number to the right. And now I'm only going to move it one time, okay? So I'm going to move my 6 up once. I'm going to move my 0 up once. I'm going to move my 3 up once. And now I make sure that that decimal is straight underneath. And now I've got to put something in this block here. And I put a 0. So my answer is going to be 0.306. Okay. Question number 4. Got a missing number in the middle. So now I've got to do a subtraction. And I always write the bigger number. So I look at these two numbers and I go, which number is bigger? Is it 72 or 47? 72. And then I put in my decimal. Nice and neat. And then over here, I add this and I put my decimal down first. Remember, decimals never ever move. And then I copy the exact digit that comes immediately after the decimal, which is 4. And the exact digit that comes just before. Remember, these numbers have to look exactly the same. I cannot put a 0 here and then put a 4 there because they are not going to look the same. And I'm going to subtract, and now I've got a big gap and I put my placeholder in there, okay? Right, and now I'm going to subtract. 4 minus nothing is 4. 0 minus 4 I can't do, so I need to go borrow and regroup. 10 minus 4 is 6. Bringing down that very important decimal into my answer. Remember, many of you made the silly mistake where you forgot to bring the decimal point down. 1 minus 7 I can't do, so I'm going to go and borrow. And then regroup. 11 minus 7 is going to be 4. And then 6 minus 4 is 2. And my answer is 24.64. Okay. Right, let's move on. 6 squared plus 2 squared. So 6 squared means 6 times 6, not 6 times 2. 6 times 6, which is 36. And 2 squared is 2 times 2. And can you see here, even me as a teacher is writing it out in full to make sure I make no silly mistakes. And I line up those numbers, the 1s and the 10s, and then I add them together. 6 plus 4 is 10, carry the 1, 3 plus 1 is 4, and my answer is 40. So wonky 0. Right, moving on. Number 6, I've got a mixed fraction, a mixed number minus a fraction. So first of all, I'm going to look at my fractions denominators. Are they the same? Yes, they are. So all I do is I ignore this 1 for now, and I say, can I do a third minus 2/3? No, I cannot, okay? So now we can use our skills from our work this week, and hopefully some of you might have changed this into an improper fraction. So if I change this into an improper fraction, I'm going to say 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4/3. And I'm going to say minus 2/3. And now my bottom numbers are the same, and all I have to do is subtract my top numbers. So if you got that one wrong, perhaps go and just rewind the video and have a look at that one again, because that is using your knowledge from this week that we taught you. And although we're going to be doing this as the weeks unfold, hopefully some of you had to think about, actually, you can make this into an improper fraction. So well done to those children who are really thinking. Right, this one we haven't really done of yet, but we have mentioned it in class sometimes, so perhaps some of you had a go. I say 32 divide by 4, and then times, and we are going to be looking at of later on this term, so please don't panic if this is a bit scary for you. It is actually so easy, and you're going to have a big smile on your face when we do get to it. So for now, if you didn't get this one, it's okay, but see if you can work it out with me now. 32 divided by 4 is going to be 8, and 8 times 3 is 24. Right, question number 8 is our division. So making sure we have our bus stop and 7,564, and I put my 4 there. Right, 4 goes into 7 once, and I'm left with 3. 4 goes into 35 8 times, and I'm left with 3 again. 4 goes into 36 again. No, it goes in 9 times exactly. 9 times 4 is 36. And 4 goes into 4 once. So there are no remainders there. And I'm happy. Question number 9. Right, now we've got lots of zeros. Some people find this really hard, but in actual fact, it's probably one of the easiest ones to work out. Right, I'm going to go check that I have the right number of zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then underneath, I'm going to work backwards, so I make sure that I'm lining up the digits under the correct column. Right, and I'm subtracting. Very important. I'm going to circle it to make sure that I remember that I'm subtracting. Right, 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 5 I can't do, so I need to go borrow it. He doesn't have anything, so I go and borrow. Take away and regroup. Can't wait, so that becomes 10. 10 minus 1 is 9, and I regroup. Now I can do this. 10 minus 5 is 5, so wonky 5. 9 minus 4 is 5. 1 minus nothing is 1, and 1 minus nothing is 1. And the answer is 115,500. Right. Negative numbers, okay? I'm going to do the bottom here. Right. So I'm going to start with the number negative 15, and I'm subtracting, so I'm going to the left. Okay, remember when we minus, we always move to the left, and I need to subtract 9 times. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I go and fill in my numbers. Remember, you're counting upwards and you're going this way. 18, 19, 20, negative 21, negative 22, negative 23, and I land on negative 24. Okay, please do not go the other way, because then you are adding. Remember, subtracting goes this way, adding goes to the right. Okay, these are questions we've been doing this week. So hopefully, last week. So hopefully this is going to be nice and simple for you. Right, 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2, making sure that I have my decimal after the 1 digit. Then 4 times 6 again is 24. 24 plus 2 is 26. 4 times 5 is 20, and 20 plus 2 is 22. So my answer is going to be 226.4. Right, I need to round to 1 decimal place here, okay? So I'm going to go and circle the 1 decimal place, underline the number next door. Is it 5 or more? Yes, it is. So I'm going to raise this number. So I leave all the numbers to the left exactly the same, including the decimal. And now I'm going to add 1 more to the 8. So it's going to become 9. And I'm going to quickly go and check. Do I have only 1 decimal place after the decimal? Yes, I do. Do not put a 0, because if you put a 0, how many digits have you given me? You've given me 2, and I've only asked for 1. So please make sure that you are with decimals, when you have a decimal, that you're really reading that question carefully. Right, the next one, 54.32. And now I'm going to make sure my decimals line up first. Now, what number comes immediately after the 2? What number comes immediately before the decimal? A 7. And then I can put my 0 afterwards. And I'm subtracting. 2 minus nothing is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. Bring down that very important decimal. 4 minus 7 I can't do, so I need to go and borrow. So I'm going to borrow and regroup. 14 minus 7 is 7. And 4 minus nothing is 4. So my answer is going to be 47.12. Right, short multiplication, nice and easy. 62 times 4. 4 times 2 is 8, nothing to regroup. 4 times 6 is 24. The answer is 248. And the last one, 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 9, 72. Hopefully those children who've been practicing their tables this week have done a bit better with your multiplication. Right, now we're going to be looking at our reasoning, okay? Oh, my bum's getting sore on this chair. Write the 2 missing digits to make this addition correct. Okay, so first of all, 4 plus 5 is 9, so I'm happy with that. 9 plus something is going to give me a 6. So what must I add to 9? That is going to give me a number that's actually 16, because I need it to end on a 6. So I'm going to add the number 7. 9 plus 7 gives me 16, and I carry the 1. Then 4 plus 1 plus 9 gives me 14, and I carry the 1. Then something, 1 plus something plus 2 is going to give me an answer that ends with a 1. So what number can I put in before that? The 10. So then I'm going to get 11. So what must I add here to give me 11? And I need to add an 8. 8, 9, 10, 11, and then I carry my 1. 6 plus 1 plus 2 gives me 9, and I'm very happy. Right, question number 17. Here we've just done this yesterday, so hopefully you've done really well. Every time I'm adding something to increase the same amount, okay? But now I actually have to work backwards first. So what have I done to 5 7s to get the 1? I've added 2 7s. Now I'm working backwards. So I'm not going to add 2 7s here, otherwise you're going to end up with 1. I now need to subtract because I'm going backwards. So what is 5 minus 2? It's going to be 3. And what is 3 minus 2? 1. And now I can go and check my answers. Have I increased these fractions every time by 2 7s? Yes, I have. Happy days. Question number 18, I said, was a little bit tricky in terms of you had to use your equivalent fraction knowledge, okay? And you had to write in the missing numbers. Now, there are 4 blocks here, so I'm going to be working in quarters. Okay, now what is this worth actually if I had to make this into something over 4? So I'd say 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. All right, so what numbers would I need to put in here if I am decreasing each time by a quarter? So if I'm subtracting a quarter from 1, I'm going to say 3. Then I've got 2, and then hopefully you would have figured out that that's 1. And I can go and, as I said in the lesson yesterday, you can go and do the opposite to go and check if it makes sense. A quarter plus a quarter is 2 quarters, plus a quarter is 3 quarters, plus a quarter is 1. Okay, so this one was using lots of our knowledge. It was using equivalent fraction knowledge from our Monday, Tuesday lesson, and it was using our sequencing knowledge from Thursday's lesson. So hopefully you managed to have a real think about question 18. And if you got that right, I am incredibly impressed and proud. If you didn't get it right, maybe just rewind the video and just listen to how I explained it and see if you can figure that out. Right, question number 19. It says, the swimmers at Shark Swimming Club are collecting money for charity. Their target is to collect £125. So far, they have collected £32.86. How much more money do they need to reach their target? So I'm going to say that's what they want to reach, and that's how much they raise. And I want to know how much more money they need, okay? So I need to say 125, subtract this number, because I want to know what I still need to raise. So I'm going to put this number now into it. Remember, if they don't give me the decimal, I put the decimal in, and I can put my zeros to show my placeholders, and then I add this number exactly in the correct place. So if there's a decimal there, there needs to be a decimal in the number. Then I need to add 32, exactly the same. I haven't changed anything. There's my ones, there are my tens lining up. Then I have my tenths and I have my hundredths. Right, and now I'm going to subtract. So 0 minus 6 I can't do, so I need to go and borrow. That doesn't have anything, so I need to go and borrow again. Right, regroup. Now it's got 10, minus 1 is 9. And now I bring it over. So 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring down the decimal. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 minus 3 I can't do, so I need to go borrow and regroup. Now I've got 12 minus 3 is 9. And there is my answer. So this is how much I still need to raise. Okay, £92.14. Right, and the last question, it says, which is not a multiple? Multiples of 6 means I'm counting in sixes, okay? Now, when you have a look at all these numbers, you need to start thinking about your mental calculation. So first of all, I know 6 will definitely be 1. So I'm not going to circle that one because the first number is 6 when we count in 6. 6, 12, 18, 20, 4. So I won't be circling 6, okay? So I'm happy with 6. What other numbers can you see will definitely also not be, will be a multiple of 6? So I'm going to look here. Right, this is a nice easy one as well. 6 times 100, because they are my 2 zeros, is 600. So again, it can't be that one. I'm just going to cross these out just so that we can see what we're working with. 6 times what equals 30? 6 times 5 is 30, so it can't be 30. And now I'm left with these two. Now, 120 and 62. Which one of those do you think is going to make more sense that that number can go in? So if I said 120 divided by 6, and I use my mental calculation and I ignore the 0 and I say 12 divided by 6, I can do that is 2, and then I would add my 0, which is 20. So that one can go in, and I'm left with the number 62. And if you wanted to double check, you could even do your bus stop and you could say 6 goes into 6 once, 6 goes into 2 can't do, so I'd have a remainder. And remember, multiples are numbers that go into another number equally. So that is your arithmetic for today. Hopefully you've done really, really well. As I said, if you got anything above 16, you are doing really amazing work, and especially those children who are really focusing and applying their skills from their learning. You can see now why it is so important to be doing your online learning, because it is now coming up in your questions for your arithmetic and reasoning papers. So send me your work, love to see it, year 5 at theprimaryacademy.com. Love to see what you got, and hope you have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of your learning, and I will see you later.